Welcome to Poets at War, a podcast documenting the brood of writers, where art, theology, philosophy, and fun beckon your ears. Today on the program, the brood digs into the sands of Arrakis to debate literary style. We hear a retelling of a giant-slaying classic, and we head to the war room to design a tabletop conquest. First up, the ink is spilling as the squad debates the merits of Frank Herbert's Dune versus the prose of Tolkien and the pulp energy of Robert E. Howard. Is the spice worth the flow, or is it just a dry read?
God of song, said the warrior bard, the world betray thee. One sword at least thy right shall guard, one faithful heart shall praise thee.
Recorded November 25th, 2025.
Dune, but I don't think I'm ever going to understand Dune.
Yeah, I can get that. Tolkien's vast distaste for Dune has soured me to the prospect of trying. I may eventually, just for
I
the
didn't
sake
realize
of it.
he was a. I didn't know he was alive for Dune. I thought that came out after long after he was dead.
He hated Dune. No, he wasn't. He was
I
alive.
didn't know that.
This was actually the conversation that spurred him on to so you know how he was working on a sci-fi time travel thing at some point and either abandoned it or just didn't finish it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because C.S. Lewis did the space trilogy and whatever. The Dune was the thing that sparked that conversation because he did not like the way, specifically did not like the way, I always forget Dune's author's name, but he did not like the way that he used language in the book. He kind of just bandied about meaning and language and etymology in this weird sort of way. And it was very mechanically laboratory, kind of the way that he used language in Dune, and he hated it. He went like on rampages about it, and Lewis was like, well, do better.
Well, they couldn't have had that conversation about Dune because Dune didn't come out until 1965.
Okay, well, I don't know what I'm thinking of then, because that sounds very. I'm pretty sure I knew that for a fact. When did? Okay, so maybe it was another book.
It must have been another book. I can't think what it would be, but it must have been another book. I know that they had.
Hold on. Now I
they
gotta look
read
this up.
those. I know they read those pulp magazines that published sci-fi and fantasy stories.
Okay, here's what I have. Hold on a second. J.R.R. Tolkien expressed a strong dislike for Frank Herbert's Dune, stating in a letter to somebody that he disliked Dune with some intensity. This sentiment was rooted in fundamental differences in their philosophical approaches to storytelling. I might be thinking of a different book sparking the thing, but I was right about him hating Dune. It says specifically ethical framework, deontology versus consequentialism. Example of characters: Frodo versus Paul, Atreides, views on power, moral clarity, religious views. Yeah, so basically that's the focus of that. But yes, he did write a letter expressing his strong distaste for Dune. So
okay, I mean, I can understand that. Dune's language is lacking in flair.
mm-hmm.
And I say
lacking
that
in Ric Flair. Woo! Anyway, I had to, man.
lacking in Ric Flair, lacking in macho man energy.
A little bit of Ultimate Warrior.
I mean, you gotta know. You gotta know.
What's
Macho
up,
Man
Carrie?
would have been.
What up?
Good to have you, man.
Oh, but Carrie's-
Oh, good to be here.
Yep. Y'all figure out anything more about your ghost hunting?
No, not at all. I ain't
Okay.
been home all day. I'm still not home.
Yeah, they had a crazy ghostly incident at their house of some variety. They have some weird video that's kind of like, can you see the thing over there? And they were showing it to me like last night late. It was kind of crazy. So I said, brush up on 91 and sing it very loud next time.
Yep.
All right, that's freaky.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
My next suggestion would be go get some rock salt and fill up some shotgun shells.
There you go. He probably has at least half that done.
Rock salt.
There you go.
Does lead work?
More than likely.
No, it's got to be salt.
Oh,
Well.
man.
Show up to.
We also don't want to trap it inside. I mean, come on now.
Oh,
You should do
know.
that story, Ian. You should do a thing where they circle the house in salt, but they trap the thing inside. That sounds like a Walter Ulrich story. Or
that could totally work.
Yeah. They accidentally
That
trap it
could totally
inside.
work for Walter. Or yeah, either one. So anyway, getting back to Dune, the language, the use of language is kind of boring, and I definitely see where he would have a problem with the moral framework.
Mm-hmm.
Because like Duke Leto Atreides, he's not a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's not evil or morally ambiguous. He is actually trying to do what's right. But is he doing it for the right reasons? I guess would be Tolkien's question. And probably the answer is no. A lot of what he does is for pragmatic reasons.
Yep. Let's see.
But like if you compare Tolkien's use of language, or even Robert E. Howard's use of language, to that found in Dune, Dune is very stark and kind of boring. So I totally get where he's coming from there.
Yeah, I mean, I know the recent film, which I still haven't seen, I'll see at some point, did really well and people really liked it. The thing that still confuses me overall is like everything I've ever heard about it on basically it seems to me like there's two ways to take Dune. One is kind of the way the author meant it, and one is the way it comes across. And I think that they figured out in this latest iteration how he meant it, where the other ones were trying to follow how he actually did it, if that makes sense. How it actually comes across on the page and adapt that to screen. And I think it's very interesting to me that like there's two, it's not just two different, like granted the recent movie is one of the only versions of it that is blockbustery in any kind of way. There are other versions that are blockbustery, but then there are people who actually experience it as sort of this grand epic blockbustery book, and then other people who are like, no, it was as boring as those first attempts at movies, right? It's this very split experience that just fascinates me, but not enough to read it yet.
I wouldn't recommend. I would not recommend it to you because I don't think you'd enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I can totally see where people were coming and saying, "Yeah, it was that boring," because there's a lot of like it's a hard book to like get through. I've actually had to take a couple of breaks from it because I was just like, yeah, this is boring. I'm going to go read Conan again. You know?
Right. That's funny.
One chapter that I just finished that went on for pages and pages and pages, and it was literally just a meeting. It was the definition of this could have been an email.
Oh boy.
No, we had to get the Atreides clan and all of his retainers together to watch them interact. And I understand the utility of it and what Frank Herbert was trying to do with the scene, with the chapter, I should say. But it was just so until the ending. The end of the chapter, it ended perfectly because the Freeman chief comes in and there's this weird little interaction because he's very tribal and Leto is very not. He's very civilized, and we have this sort of almost Conan-like interaction between the civilized and the barbarian.
Mm-hmm.
So that part was really interesting, but the rest of the chapter was boring. I understand why.
What up, Michael
Tolkien
Bush?
oh, wait a minute.
Hey, what's up, you brood of writers?
We were talking
pretty
about
good.
Dune.
Now, I would think, just don't say anything yet, Michael. I would think, just based on Michael, that he would have a generally positive idea of Dune. Am I correct or no?
Of Dune? I like Dune. I think there's a lot to like about it.
Like the book or the just
Yeah,
the
there
recent
is
movie?
there is a lot to like about it.
Oh, I like the
there
book. Yeah, I like the books and the movies. I joked that the first of the recent Dune movies is the best movie you'll ever watch where nothing happens.
Okay, yeah. Ian was just talking about his general distaste for it. But he said, yeah, there are some interesting things in it for sure. So like, I'd love to hear y'all banter about that if you have some stuff.
What do you dislike about it?
I cannot bring myself to hate it, to genuinely dislike it. There are things about it that I like and things about it that I dislike. I think that it's this is a taste thing. This is not something I'm not prepared to make a official like this is an objective fact. I think it's a bit more boring and slow moving than what I like to read typically.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, I can see that as a reasonable critique. I mean, I don't think it hurts the book to me, but if you really don't, if you really don't care for the pacing, then yeah, I mean, fair enough.
What was the meeting you referenced, Ian?
It's not that it's bad for the book. What am I saying? The book accomplishes what it sets out to do, but for myself, I prefer books that are faster paced, much more exciting, much more action packed than Dune. Dune is very slow moving. Well, that's not true either, because some of there's a couple of books by Dean Koontz that are very slow moving, but I still really enjoy them because he manages to make it enjoyable.
I wonder if what you're thinking of is less pacing then, and maybe more the extent to which the narration puts a filter between the events and the reader. Because in Dune, the narrator is sort of screening everything. It's like everything is passing through this sort of wide, omniscient viewpoint narrator. And if I think back, especially like the pulp authors that I know you like, that's very much not there. It's a lot more immediate in how the readers receive the information. So I wonder if that's what you're picking up on.
Yes, that's probably it. So I'm going to throw out some things here. Have you ever read Redwall?
Yeah.
Okay. I love Redwall. Those books are really good. I don't love them as much as my sister does. She has all of them, and she's they're one of her autistic special interests. So I could never love Redwall as much as TK loves Redwall. But I love Redwall's Brian Jake's style of narration. I love Dean Koontz style of narration. I love Robert E. Howard and Edgar Rice Burroughs. That's what I like. Dune, because it's very narration is like you said, very filtered. I don't tend to appreciate that. So it's not the problem. It's not a problem with the book. It's a problem with the audience, i.e., me.
Now, Ian, you recently said that you started to get a little more into Tolkien, if I remember correctly. You kind of were like, I like Tolkien, but I also like he kind of bores me at times because of the speed at which he does stuff and things like that. But like, where would you put this on the spectrum of what you're talking about? Like, do you just appreciate Tolkien more because of what he's saying, or do you actually think he's better at things like pacing than, Dune, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, I think he's I think that his style of narration is better than Frank Herbert's by far. In fact, the fact that his books are the fact that The Lord of the Rings is very, very slow paced is not necessarily a problem for everyone else. It is a problem for me because almost every time I try to start reading The Lord of the Rings again, I sort of lose interest. Like, okay, this detail, these are completely irrelevant to the story. I'm done.
It's funny because
there's a lot to appreciate about that, and there's a lot that's good about that. I do love the Silmarillion. I think the Silmarillion is a great.
Which some people would argue is worse, and for the thing that you're looking for, right? But you like that because it's more. Yeah.
It's the thing about the Silmarillion is that it's not to tell one narrative. The Lord of the Rings is one continuous narrative, and then he stops and counts the daisies, essentially.
Well, he's giving you what it feels like to actually be on the journey, right?
Yeah.
And the journey's very tiring. Like, that's kind of the point, right? So yeah, I'm with you there. You're reading a book for the entertainment of the story versus like the experience of the journey, especially Lord of the Rings. The Hobbit obviously is way more, quick in general. Is that any better for you? The Hobbit, is that closer to what you're looking for?
I've read The Hobbit a few times. I love The Hobbit.
You've read The Hobbit a few times? Yeah. Hobbit's great.
Yeah. The Hobbit's good. The thing about the Silmarillion is it isn't one story. It's like 100 stories packed into one volume. It's more like reading the prose Edda or one of the great Greek epics, and it is like reading a novel. It's not a novel. The Silmarillion is not a novel. It is a series of stories.
Yep.
My personal favorite part is the Children of Húrin, or Turin's story, just because I find that really interesting for whatever reason. But getting back to the topic at hand, I would say that Michael Bush is right in that I don't appreciate the very filtered prose that Frank Herbert uses,
Raccoon,
as opposed to the more
Raccoon.
oh, isn't that cool?
What up, dude?
He's a big boy too. He chunky.
The Brood's literary foxhole just got crowded. New voices are dropping in. A raccoon meets its destiny. And the great debate over Tolkien, Herbert, and the art of prose rages on from Redwall to the Silmarillion.
He is a chunky boy.
I saw him from way up, way away. I was like, oh, look, his eyes.
Is he
I
stuck or
figured I'd
is he
just show
just
up.
chilling?
He's in a trap. He's part of the nuisance wildlife control I'm doing. So
I
I'm
got you.
getting paid to trap him. Yeah.
Yeah.
So is he going to end up on somebody's dinner table or?
Yeah, it might be for Thanksgiving, actually.
There you go.
Did you know that
Love
the
it.
presidents actually, up until like 1928, raccoon was actually what the presidents ate for Thanksgiving until Calvin Coolidge stopped it?
Well, he had
Oh,
a
yeah?
pet raccoon, did he not?
Yeah, he had a pet. He turned it into a pet because he didn't want to eat it. But up until then, that's what they ate. So they were given an honorary raccoon for a Thanksgiving meal, and he was like, "No, I don't want to eat this." So he turned it into a pet.
That is fascinating.
That is
But yeah, this is the
fascinating.
biggest one I've caught by far. He's a big male.
Hmm.
So he's gonna go into like a gumbo or something.
Yummy.
Yep. All right, y'all can continue this conversation.
Oh, anyways, what I tend to prefer the more ornate or baroque prose of Tolkien or
What up,
What
fatty?
up, Jesse?
What about me?
What up, dude? Good to have
Did
you.
you just call me fat?
No, I think he was calling
talking to
Jesse fat
Jesse.
or the raccoon.
Both.
Excuse you.
No, he didn't. No, he was definitely calling you that. You should get really angry and start a huge fight.
Jesse, I caught a fat raccoon. And it reminded
Yeah,
me of
caught
you.
Yeah, of course I know him. He's me.
Yeah, he's a big chunky boy.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I can't show him now because he's dead, but
Why does
not?
it make it impossible for you to show him?
huh?
Why does that
Well,
make it
because
so you
he's-
can't show him?
Well, he's got blood gushing out of his head with a big old gaping wound in his forehead.
What did you use? A 357 or a 22?
No, not 22.
Okay.
Well, that's not really. It's not really a big wound. Then it's not. It's just a small wound. You know, how big can that 22 wound really be? Come on.
Yeah.
Oh, he's
There you
fresh.
Dude, I literally
You
just shot
literally-
him.
We
Just
literally
shot
just
him.
saw him alive on the stream, so yeah.
Like not even
Wow.
30 seconds before you joined, I was showing them.
That's the
Note
second
to-
time this has happened.
Note to
Is
my transcript to just blur that one little bit for anyone else. I'm totally happy to see it, but just
That's why
for
I didn't wanna
anyone
show
else who
it.
isn't expecting it. Yeah.
Oh, we're recording right now. Yeah, duh.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to show it. I was like, I don't want to show this. I think he's recording.
What's up, Aaron? You're back. All right.
Oh, I said he's perfect.
Yeah, I was just reporting that scammer and I needed to take some screenshots, and I realized you were. In
That was the best way to
corner,
do. Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
One time I shared a meme to a group that I'm trying to remember what it said. I think it said, "Girl, you crying over a man that doesn't even know how to skin a coyote." And I shared it to this group,
Easy.
and the one guy says, "This one guy, I don't know where he's from. I think he's from a city somewhere." He says, "Why would you need to know that?" And I said, "Where I come from, that's just part of life." Skinning coyotes. Not that I've ever skinned a coyote, but I know plenty of people who have.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh, coyotes. They're interesting. There's a lot of
Coyotes
folklore
are-
around coyotes. I've been writing a bunch of stuff in Ghost Trucker involving coyotes, but like the creepy spirit guide variety. That's a lot of fun.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yep. So what's been up, Michael Bush? You want to regale us with some tales of the the journey that never ended?
Well, I was just heading up to Omaha to see my girlfriend and meet her family for the first time. So that's what what happened this past weekend. And
Did that go well?
It went very well. Yeah, they like me. As always, I'm very popular with parents.
There you go.
So,
I was so popular.
yeah.
Let me just say really quick, side tangent. I was so popular, quote unquote, with Casey's dad that literally the first like 4 hours of the time I went to go see her was him like just talking to me and grilling me and being unbelievably impressed with my reformed resume. And then we finally went to our movie. We missed like 2 showings that we had initially planned on and then got to the third one. So it's kind of hilarious. Anyway, continue.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Yeah, I actually know a guy who he eventually broke up with this lady, but her dad and him like each other so much they still get breakfast together sometimes. Just yeah. So yeah, we hung out in Omaha, went around to see the town. The Cornhuskers lost that day, so the bars were full of a lot of really depressed, drunk people. And yeah, really good weekend. So very, very pleased. Now she's got to come down and meet my family, so we'll see how that goes.
Gotcha. That sounds fun. How
We'll
was
see.
the travel craziness? Was that anything else to report other than you had a crazy long layover because you missed a flight, or is that literally it?
That's literally just it. It definitely cut out some of our time to hang out, but we made the best of it.
Yeah, I hear you. What's up with you, Jesse? What you been up to? Any further revelations on your ghost hunting? Carrie said no, but maybe you came up with something while on the beat. Cue the noir music.
Nothing new. I'm sure he shared with you some of the details.
No, he hasn't said anything. You guys shared what you did with me. I didn't want to go further than the general event. So
yeah, just some weird coincidences that seem to line up between me and them. So we'll see what's happening, but nothing's happened for about a week now.
What is this ghost hunting stuff?
Not ghost
Not
hunting.
literal ghost hunting.
Well, not us.
Never
Ghost
mind then.
encountering.
just some weird stuff that might be more than normal.
Okay. Like what?
He's gonna press.
Yes.
Won't say for now.
Well, come on, you can't dangle that in front of me and then like not say it. Fine.
Oh boy.
I'll say it's stuff we're handling with pastoral council. So
that's probably the best.
Yeah, what it is.
So Jesse, had you heard the thing that I sent you or gotten into any of the other stuff that I had brought up to y'all? You and Alex.
No, I was thinking about that earlier. I've only listened to the first 10 or so songs on Guardians, and I have not gotten the chance to read more ITR. And I'm still I'm sifting through some drone footage now. 8 p.m. So
yeah.
If I have time, I might get to it in a little while. But
oh sure, no big. I sent the
and the
my
song.
first shot at the vocal cover.
Listened to that full song. Yeah. I listened to like a minute of it, but I haven't continued it.
Gotcha. Okie doke. But yeah, so they don't know about. Nobody else knows about the project yet. So but you and Alex know. So you and Daniel. Right, yeah. Daniel as well, technically, but that's because we were talking about some other stuff, so. But yep. So anyway, one other cool thing I'll tell y'all with Logo Sophia, next year, sometime early. We're looking at getting Benjamin Curley, who's been in and out of the Brood occasionally, to come over to my church. I'm going to dress up as Henry, the Logosophia mascot, and walk around the church barefoot, and we're going to get some like B-roll footage that I can use for shorts and reels, basically, and basically do my voiceover over that. So we're hoping to get like a ton of footage that I can use for like 2 years and just keep having footage. So yeah, it'll be great.
Nice.
We have a lot of nice stained glass windows and things. It'll look real cool. Nice little library, stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Yep.
Well, awesome. That sounds cool.
So who else has got something? Throwing it out there. Who wants to say something?
Cabbage
Man, Avatar, The Last Airbender. Word associations. Anyway, my cabbages.
I had actually gone with my brother and sister to an Avatar music concert, orchestra concert,
Nice.
which was good. The orchestra itself was actually quite good, although the music itself is honestly nothing to write home about. The music it's great for what it does. The composer does a really good job, but everybody was there for nostalgia's sake, not because they were there to hear a wonderful, groundbreaking soundtrack. But no, that was actually a bunch of fun. It was the first orchestra concert I'd ever been to. First time I'd heard a live orchestra outside of a church in Alabama. So I was like, it was fun. It was very enjoyable. It smelled pretty bad.
How long ago was that?
But that had nothing to do with the orchestra. 1 month ago, I think today.
Oh, nice.
I think it was on 21st.
Go ahead, Ian.
Does anyone want to hear my Jack and the Beanstalk story?
Yeah, why not?
Sure.
That sounds fun.
A soldier poet steps up to the mic with steel in his hand and a fairy tale on his lips. Ian reads his retelling of Jack and the Beanstalk.
So the problem that I have with this story is it's for an anthology. It needs to be 3,000 words, and it's 1,500.
Gotcha.
It's too short.
We'll just put a space in the middle of each word, and that should do it for you.
I love it.
Modern problems require modern solutions.
I'll drink to that.
Oh man.
His expression right there was
anyway.
perfect.
All right, we're ready to go?
Yeah, go for it, man.
Lust for gold and glory had driven Jack to this point. The other 2 times he'd climbed up to this kingdom in the sky were not sufficient to sate his hunger for more. He had brought prosperity and notoriety to himself and his mother. All of Cornwall was whispering of Jack and his sudden good fortune. He had risen to such a state from abject poverty and obscurity. And here he'd returned to the Black Castle in that bizarre realm accessible only by the Beanstalk. Here at the Black Castle, home of the ogre Gog-Magog, Jack crept through the labyrinthine garden of thorn trees and briars toward the Tower of Black Stone, looming high over that cursed land. Creatures too bizarre to adequately describe crept among the weird foliage, crying their strange cries as Jack approached. He stayed low. He would not let himself be discovered by the lady of the house again. No, this time he would take what he wanted and leave without a trace. Jack was a handsome youth, tall and swarthy like his countrymen, a black mane of hair down to his square shoulders, lean of limb but swift and powerful, his blue eyes piercing like the ice-cold wind on a winter's night. A short sword hung by his side, ready to be drawn at any moment. Though his father had taught him precious little of swordcraft prior to his early death, Jack was a natural with the blade. Crouching down, he watched as the door opened, and the giant's wife went out, carrying a yoke and 2 water buckets. She stood head and shoulders taller than Jack, though she was quite comely. Jack had rather taken a liking to her, and she to him. Once she was sufficiently far away, Jack ascended the great steps into the Black Castle, the abode of Gog Magog. Inside, he began to search the castle for new treasures. Gog Magog possessed many strange, marvelous things, all of them stolen. Jack had never crept this far into the ogre's castle before. A strange feeling crept over him, like the chill of winter. A deep dread foreboding. This was an evil place where many dread and dark deeds were done. Within the interior of the castle stood what Jack could only describe as an altar. Strewn all over it were bones, human bones. Jack soon realized that this was some sort of temple of which Gog Magog was the deity. Jack's stomach turned. Gog Magog wasn't just some gigantic beast, but rather a demon, a force of supreme evil. A cold hate froze Jack's heart. This wasn't about gold and glory anymore. Gog Magog must die. Then he heard the ogre thundering back into his halls. Quickly, Jack hid himself within one of the large wash basins in the castle. He would face the giant and kill him, but not now. No, he needed to plan to slay such a large creature. Fee, fi, fo, fum, he cried as he often had before. I smell the blood of a British man. It was probably just the one you devoured this morn, my lord, said the giant's wife. Or maybe that little rogue who stole your gold. Gog Magog grunted something Jack couldn't make out in response to his wife. Entering the chamber, he took his seat upon the giant throne before the altar of death. Bring me the lyre, he commanded. His spouse departed into another chamber within the castle, returning a few moments later, accompanied by a young lady shackled by a golden chain to a golden lyre. The giantess forced her to kneel before the great ogre. Sing, he ordered. The lady began to utter such a song as would make any man weep. Her fingers plucked the strings of the golden lyre with such beauty as would enchant angels. Jack peeked out of his hiding place at the sound of her song. She was as fair to look upon as her voice was beautiful. Indeed, she was the most beautiful woman Jack had ever laid eyes on. Her hair was fair, almost white. Her skin seemed to be fashioned from gold. Jack quickly determined that she was none other than a fairy woman. He must rescue her from this terrible place. Slowly the ogre's eyelids drooped, as his head began to nod. At last he fell into a deep slumber, his snores filling the hall. The girl's voice quieted, though she continued to strum the lyre. Once Gog Magog was soundly asleep, Jack emerged from his hiding place. He approached the lady, quiet as a mouse. He was almost afraid to touch her. Gently he laid his hand on her shoulder. Her head whipped around to face Jack. "Who are you?" she whispered. "I am Jack," he replied. "I'm here to save you." "I knew this day would come," she said, tears welling up in her eyes. Taking her by the hand, Jack led her out of the hall. As they passed by the corridor, the girl tripped, her lyre hitting the floor with a resounding noise. Gog Magog's wife entered the corridor. "Quick," she hissed. "I warned you not to return. Gog Magog will roast you alive if he wakes." Jack looked behind him. The ogre stirred, his bloodshot eyes fluttering open drowsily. Seeing Jack and the girl and her magical lyre drove him into a bloodthirsty rage, which admittedly was not that difficult. Leaping from his throne, he came chasing after them. Jack and the girl went racing from the hall, Gog Magog hot on their heels. At last they came to the Beanstalk. "You miserable cur," cried Gog Magog, "now you will die." The ogre raised his sword to strike the lad, but Jack was just a bit too quick, ducking the blade in time. Drawing his own blade, Jack slashed the brute through the leg. The giant howled in pain and surprise. Sheathing his blade, Jack took hold of the maid, and they began their descent down the Beanstalk to Cornwall. Hurriedly did he climb, the maid clinging to his back. She let out an anguished cry. Looking up, Jack saw Gog Magog descending the Beanstalk after them. He quickened his pace, climbing faster and faster as the ogre followed behind. He jumped down the last couple of yards, calling to his mother to bring him the axe. With mighty chops, Jack hewed down the Beanstalk. At last the giant plant buckled. Gog Magog let out a horrified scream as he came down with it, landing in the British earth with a terrible crash. Jack breathed a sigh of relief. Then, running to the end of the Beanstalk, he viewed the now motionless ogre. Was he dead, or was he merely stunned, or feigning death? Jack could not be certain. Drawing his sword, Jack hewed the giant's hideous head from his shoulders, carrying it back to the house by the hair. Jack then had the skull made into his own drinking bowl, and it is said that naught but Jack could drink it dry without staggering. He wed the fairy woman he rescued from the ogre. There was no woman in all of Cornwall as lovely as she. They had 7 children, 4 sons and 3 daughters, and it was said that there were no men in all of Britain as strong and handsome as Jack's sons, and no women fairer than his daughters. The end.
If your goal is to,
Yeah. Go ahead.
if your goal is to expand it, the 2 parts to me that sounded most right for it being expanded upon are the moment when he finds the altar and the moment when he sees the lady for the first time.
Yeah,
Because those
the other
represent
one.
shifts.
Mhm. I was just going to say the other one would be when he first comes into the place too, not just when he sees the altar, but like when he first comes in. That whole section can be far more detailed. You kind of go, everything was stolen. Well, what was stolen? Like, what was the sheer treasure hoard that existed, right? What were some of the horrible sights that we saw with dead bodies, and you can make it really atmospheric that way. That's an easy place to expand in, like he said, all the way up and through the altar. Go ahead, Michael. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, I'm just saying that because the moments when he sees the altar and the moments when he sees the lady are moments when the narrative shifts kind of dramatically in some ways, those are moments that are ripe for expanding upon his mental state and how he feels in the moments he makes those choices. And so if your main goal is to get it up to 3,000 words, then that's probably where I would start by looking, if it were me.
All right, that makes sense. For myself, I was thinking that in the original fairy tale, Jack ascends the tower, or ascends the Beanstalk 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
And I decided to just focus on the 3rd trip. But I was thinking of maybe doing his first trip or his second trip, and then taking a beat, and then the 3rd trip would be the last part. But yeah, those are some suggestions too.
I think the way you have it now, as far as the trips you've picked, is actually a fine choice, because fundamentally we all already know this story, right? We don't necessarily need to hear the first, second trip again. Like, if the part where you're interested in, the part where you're interested in making some new effect is in the 3rd trip, then that's where I would focus your efforts.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The story of Jack and the Beanstalk is actually probably one of the oldest stories in the world. It's been traced back by folklorists like 3,000 years or something like that. People have been telling this type of story where a man climbs up something into the heavens and meets a giant.
Yep. Well, even then you go variants even further back with Maui, right? I mean, yeah, it's a female deity that he's dealing with, but it's a very similar sort of story, back to mythology in all kinds of places,
really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep. Maui, there's variants of Maui where he actually gets crushed by her lady parts. But yeah, that's a whole other thing.
Later, this trope will be revived by anime writers.
Yes, exactly. Oh my goodness, hilarious.
Bruh. I mean, you're not
Michael
wrong.
Bush wins the evening.
I know I'm not wrong.
Unfortunately, he knows he's not wrong.
Oh,
boy.
unfortunate for all of us.
Oh my goodness.
I guess the question I'm sort of left with hearing that story is, so what new thing are you sort of trying to accomplish with this? Is it kind of the twist that the talking harp is actually a bard? Is that kind of what interests you?
So I wanted to do something more of oh, look, there's my grandfather.
Hello, Ian's
I
grandfather.
wanted to do something more Robert E. Howard-esque with the story.
Okay.
Hi, Grandpa.
Hey. Long night.
So I've heard. Well, anyway, we'll have to discuss this more later. I'm going to spend some time with my grandfather.
Good call.
All
Enjoy.
right, have a good evening.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
We can discuss. Okay, we can discuss further.
Yeah, one of you is disgusting and the other one's disgusser. Do I know the disgusting guy?
I don't think so.
I don't know why I did that.
I don't know why.
All right, I'm going to go in here and then I'm going to work on my tomorrow morning, but I'm going to work right here.
Oh, okay.
Or would you let me go in here so you can talk?
I don't care.
Well, it's up to you. Are you going to talk about anything that I shouldn't hear? Like, I don't know this guy. You know what I mean?
No.
Probably a communist.
No, he's not a communist. He's just weird.
You know, okay, well, that's okay. Weird is good. You know,
Me, a communist? What? I'm like the opposite of a communist. Anyway.
I almost had to fight a communist recently.
Oh, yeah? Fun.
Oh, no. So anyway, I was going to go more of Robert E. Howard / Lovecraft direction with it.
Yeah, Robert E. Howard. So, what with Robert E. Howard were you trying to bring into it? Just kind of the general style?
Yeah, just the linguistical style, the writing style of Robert E. Howard. Make Jack a bit more like Conan / Tarzan sort of character.
Purple truck lights people won't stop talking about, and the battle axe that's definitely not just for decoration.
Who just jumped in? It is. Who am I not noticing? It looks
Me.
like Brendan. Brendan.
It's me.
It's the Brendan. Good to have you, sir.
Good
Occasionally,
to be
yes.
had.
It's good to have you.
Welcome.
It's good to have you.
Go in the blue
This
room.
is a crowd.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm getting a snack because they all pets over there for snack.
Ian just read his Jack and the Beanstalk story for his anthology, and we gave him some feedback on where he can expand. Carrie killed a raccoon, so that was fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Michael Bush and Ian were discussing Dune a little bit, and yeah, those are the main things we discussed so far. What's going on with you? Are you Are they resting you up for Black Friday?
No.
No.
Fall went 90% off this week. Monday, it looked like, I swear, you would have thought that people were like it was the last pieces of bread. It was redonkulous.
I believe it. Hey, Carrie, why does it look like the Undertaker's Titantron on your camera right now? The purple light.
I have purple lights in my truck.
Ah, that's what it is. Very Undertaker.
I didn't put them in there. For the record. I did not put them in there. I want them out so bad.
Apparently not
You can't
bad
see
enough.
me. Look, man.
That's a good point. I think if you really wanted it, you could do it. You know.
Nah, it's not that big of a deal. I can
See,
do
there it is.
There we go.
They're real great for whenever he. They're really great for whenever he takes his wife for a ride. He's like, "Honey, you look so
my
pretty on
gosh.
your light. You look so. In fact, you look very purple." And then she blushes, but he can't tell.
It's Prince, right? No, is it Prince who did Purple Rain, or is it
The church
Hendrix?
members
I always
call
get
them
those mixed up.
the church members call them the makeout lights. A couple of them have gotten in the truck and been like, "I don't know, Carrie. I don't know if I'm comfortable being in this truck with you with these lights."
Hilarious. Oh man. But yep. So you're migrating these rules on this thing. You think Daniel might be any help?
I think Daniel would be more help than other people because he actually has a vague interest.
That's true. Michael Bush might. I don't know.
Michael Bush would probably be help.
Vague interest in what?
Michael Bush is like, what am I being voluntold to do? No, I'm working on a mini war game, and I developed the core rules, and then as I was really frustrated with one particular element because okay, backing up. I don't like oversimplification in games. I don't like the direction most games are heading where they take out systems to try to appeal to the stupid masses. Or, well, I say the stupid masses to try to appeal to non-players.
I heard
right?
someone say hi, so anyway, go ahead.
That was me. I am the stupid masses.
You are, in fact, not the stupid masses, sir. You cannot be stupid. You have read. You can't be stupid with the people you have read. Either way.
Yo, Jesse, check your phone.
Yeah, Jesse's getting an echo. So the thing that I'm not trying to make the game overcomplicated, but I really liked. I sort of looked across what are common in all the games that I have played. What is the stuff that I like? What is the stuff that I didn't like? And I tried to make a game that I would like, which sort of involved combining two different games. As I was going recently, I thought about one of the systems that I had changed, and I thought, and I changed it into basically something where you roll some dice, and that's the amount of points you get to do extra stuff, not just like move your army, but extra stuff, give them bonuses and things. And I thought, this is just command points from Warhammer with extra steps, and I don't want to do command points from Warhammer because that's boring. I'm probably going to, thinking about it, my new system probably is the same thing, but it at least feels more unique. But I ended up getting this idea where it's not like it's not deck builders, but you know how deck builders, you can you draw cards and those cards have +1 or -1 and stuff like that. And you use that to pay for stuff to buy into your deck. or at least in some deck builders, that's what it's like. Well,
Mhm.
I have something like that, but instead of paying to draw into your deck, you're just paying for the abilities that are on the board and on your special faction thing. And if the card you pay with, the symbol on the card matches the symbol on the ability, it gets enhanced. So there are 3 ability types, and there's a point value. And so each card has an ability type and a point value, and you use the cards to pay for the abilities on the board. And if you use the same type, it gets enhanced. So it's like, okay, that seems neat. The problem is I already wrote out the rules for the other system. So my frustration earlier this week was, oh no, I have to rewrite this thing. But yeah, it's hard when you don't have a lot of friends who play these games. I need to go to the local game night when Tristan's asleep and Kirith wants to have a night alone. She just looked up at me and went, huh?
When both of those things happen, which is
That's awesome.
Not. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Not exactly a common occurrence. Anyway, yeah, just nerd stuff. So you're being Joshua's trying to tell you into like reading my stuff, and I'm like, that's reading my rule book, and I'm like, that's not necessary, sir.
Sure. Send it to me.
Really? Okay.
See, I told you.
How long is it?
Well, the core rules, which aren't finished, is currently 14 pages, which is
Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. That'll only take a couple minutes.
There you go.
Yeah,
see? I told you.
Yeah, and I'm not going to send you the master rules list because that document is way overblown. It has all of the various iterations I've had, as well as like lore and a map and all kinds of stuff that's not pertinent to the game function.
Yeah, I'm not reading lore.
Yeah, you're like, I'm not interested in that.
I don't read lore for the actual war games I buy and play. Okay, like I played Twilight Imperium. There's so much lore for that. I've read 0 of it. I don't care.
At least he's
honest. Has a cool power. That's just a cool power. That works for me.
Yeah, it's like most people don't play clerics in D&D 5 and go, what god do I serve? And I'll get a power off of that. They go, what cool power do I want? Okay, give me a god that lets me do this. Which is basically what
a more realistic approach.
Well, it's more in keeping with the way actual ancient paganism worked, and would have been even more so if it gave you real magic powers, I imagine.
Took the words right out of my mouth and said them way better.
And I said that's basically how Mormonism works, but you know.
Oh man, no, Brendan, I was just doing my job, which is connecting people with people, and I thought Michael Bush has a mind of metal and wheels. He could definitely help. Anyway.
I think I might be echoing. Shoot. Oh well.
It's either you or Jesse. It's usually Jesse. But
yeah, Jesse. Yeah, Jesse, fix it.
Jesse's like, I'm muted. What do you mean?
Oh boy.
I think it's actually the facial expression that stops the echoing. As long as you hold that facial expression, there won't be any echoing.
Clearly, that is the solution.
Much better. Thank you. I think you should set that close of your face as your background as well for extra.
Jesse, do it. Yeah. Okay. Go back out and then do your Zoom one more time. Okay. Do your Zoom.
Anyway. See, now what I want is I want Jesse's to have that face where it's like full camera. I want him to just have like a JPEG of that, so that when he does Zoom calls or other calls, he puts that as the background for his
own thing with the green
Yeah.
screen over it.
What
green
I
screen
want
effect,
is
yeah.
Hold on. Let me see what I.
what I want is for your war game to have a faction that is squirrels.
There you go. He does have
Um,
mushroom people.
I do have
It's a
mushroom
step in the right
people.
direction. All
I
right.
do have
That would
mushroom
also
people.
make a great meme format.
I sent you my email if you want to send me the document.
Oh, I just linked it in the thingy-mabob, but yes,
Oh,
I will
okay,
just
yeah,
thing.
Yes,
oh.
he can send it to you.
Oh, right. Oh, right. I forgot there was a chat. Hang on. Oh, cool. Let's have a look at this.
It is.
That's fine. That's fine. I don't check my emails.
I don't check my email. Let me send you this thing I don't check.
We're millennials. We don't check our email. Come on now.
I do.
Someone's asking,
Right.
well, then how am I supposed to get in contact with you? And I'm like, ideally, you don't. Like, why would I want to talk to you?
How do I contact you? No.
Okay, let's have a look here.
All right. Let me see here.
Well, I'm gonna go see if my grandfather wants some ice cream.
Good call.
Okay,
Enjoy.
that's a good
Sounds
plan.
good.
Have a good night,
Good
my
night,
friend.
guys. Thanks for the
Wait,
chat.
is he
Good
doing
night.
it? Is he doing it?
Jesse's working on it.
He's
He's in some kind of lush tropical landscape at the moment. There it is. I love how blurry your face is over your other face.
well, it has. Well, part of the thing is that we're dealing with this
terrifying.
lighting.
Speaking of blurry things, you guys like my new battle axe?
Here, look what Jesse
hang
did to
on,
it.
If
I
it
don't,
would, yeah, you gotta take off the blur.
Hang on. There we are. You guys like my new battle axe? They're on top.
Jesse, could you move out of the way one more time?
Yes, I love your battle axe. That is cool.
Thank you. Thank you.
Look at
Yeah.
Michael Bush's battle axe, everybody.
Oh, that's so cool. He's also got a. Is that a Chinese sword up there? I can't tell.
It's actually it's just a wall hanger. What it technically is a Chinese gem with the wrong handle, but yes.
Okay.
It's actually just a wall hanger. It's not intended for use. So
Sure.
swords for actual use, I keep under my bed.
There
Yes,
you go.
as you do. There we go.
Let's look at this one.
boy.
Let's look at
Part of
this
the
board
issue,
here.
Jesse, I think, is your lighting. I think your lighting is a little too dark. There we go.
So much Jesse.
You're muted, by the way. John Appleseed.
Oh.
I don't know why.
Why
Yeah,
does it say
that's
John
not me.
Appleseed?
I don't know. It's just like the default thing, and I'm trying to remove it. I forget how.
You'll figure it out.
I believe in you.
I believe I can fly. Woo. Ric Flair. Woo.
Ooh, Shattered World is a
So-
cool name.
Sorry, what?
Shattered World is a cool name.
I thank you. I liked it.
I'm gonna steal it and use his name for something first before you're able to publish this.
No, please.
Are you, I'm gonna roll out. I'm actually gonna be going to skin that coon that Carrie just shot a little while ago.
Fun.
So
All right, have fun. Remember, there's more than one way to skin a coon.
actually, there isn't. If you hit those glands,
I know. I was lying. It's one of my 50% things of advice.
No, hold on. There is more than one way to skin a coon. There's the right way and the wrong way. That's more than one.
Oh yeah, Jesse, you're
I
gonna
don't
have fun with
see a
it.
problem. Yeah. Why?
Because this is a big male boar. He's got extra glands that you gotta find and cut out.
Oh no. Well,
Sounds
if
like
I
you got
don't
one
do it,
night
then
ahead
it
of you.
ruins the meat.
Good luck.
Sounds like a fun night you got going for you.
Sounds
All
like
right,
it.
Cage.
Alrighty, gents.
All right, we'll see you,
I'll
Jesse.
catch y'all later on.
See you, Jesse.
All right, and the Cajuns drop off.
And now a mini poetry boot camp featuring Brendan's blueprints for a whole new theater of war. And Michael Bush is running tactical analysis on every rule, die, and command card, like a general planning the invasion.
Wings on the cottage, wings on the wood, wings upon pot and pan. For the hunting of the dragon, that is the life of the man.
The Cajuns, both of them.
Now, what are you trying to figure out with your war game rules here?
Well, I mean, I think I've got it set. The two concerns I have are, and one of them can't be addressed by the core rules, I don't think. Although I would have to look at the how I've got the equipment set up. But one, because currently I have the dice set to D6s, because that's the most common dice that basically any Tom, Dick, or Harry can pick up at a store. And because I use a roll low system and basically rely on the stat of the unit, is it too easy to make it to a point where everyone is just rolling below 5, like 5 and below? Because currently what I've got it set up at as your basic infantry, they hit on 3s.
Okay.
They can, so 1, 2, or 3, they hit. Okay. They can do an action. They only get 2 actions per activation. We call it activation. They only get 2 actions per activation. One action they could use is called Embolden. What that does is that gives them a +1 to their melee ability. So now they're hitting on 1, 2, 3s, and 4s. And then hypothetically, I could spend a command card, one of my 7, to give them, depending on if an ability exists, to give them a +1 to hit again. So that's a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. I'm wondering if it's my concern. One is it going to be too easy for everybody to do that? But concern 2, but that one that's reliant on the command board, which you don't have access to right now, so it's hard to tell. The other one is just, I don't know. I just need feedback. Does this seem like this? Does it seem? Are the rules simple enough that it is intuitive? Because I don't want to make a game that's complex for the sake of complex. I want a game that has a bunch of dials that you can turn. But that the actual, the turning of the dial isn't the difficult part, if that makes sense.
That makes sense. Why would I use an infantry ability to give me +1 to my target number instead of making an attack? Because that's the trade-off, right? They're both actions.
Attack is an action. You get 2 actions. Let's see. Why would you? Let's say
give +1 instead of just taking 2 attacks.
I have it set to that you can only battle once.
Okay.
Currently, you can only battle once. However, if you are and then so you can only initiate a battle action or a charge action once, and you can only receive a battle or a charge action once. Any excess battle or charge actions inflicts attrition automatically. So this is to incentivize ganging up on people in a way. I also have the rule set that you just flat out can't initiate a battle more than once with a unit. Because the way that battle actions are done in this game, both sides roll at the same time their attacks and defenses. So both sides rolls attacks, they count the number of hits, then they tell the opponent, and then that opponent rolls the same number of defense dice to see how many of those attacks those successful hits they block, right? And then whoever whoever loses more models loses that fight, and they have to make a resolve check. If they succeed, they don't have to do anything. If they fail, they have to either withdraw, so they move their units away, their movement speed, or they have to take an attrition token. And attrition tokens are basically a stacking debuff. The first one is -1 to basically everything. The second one is you can only take one action instead of two. 3, you can only defend, embolden, or rally. And 4, you have to rally. Rally removes attrition. That's all it does.
Okay.
But it removes. I have it right now set to removing D3 attrition. That's also something I need to test. I need to play a lot of games of this. I need to play local games. I need to play test this with someone here. Not here in the call. I mean here at home.
My initial thought is that D3 is a little high based on what I'm seeing here, because I don't necessarily have a good figure in my head for how many units are going to be on the board at a time. That's what's going to determine if that D3 is reasonable or not. But it doesn't seem like there's necessarily a ton of them.
Basic infantry are 10. Elite infantry are 15. Basic cavalry are 15. Elite cavalry are 20. And then there's others units that are sort of in that range. So you're looking at mostly units costing from 10 to 20, with some big units being 30, but those are behemoth class units that are you can only have one of. And you get a free commander, and you get 100 points. So you're looking at an average of, I want to say, 8 to maybe like low end 6 to 8 units on the table at any given moment in time. 9 if you're really flooding with lots of basics.
Gotcha. Yes. I mean, a D3 seems high to me in those circumstances, but that's just an impression I'm getting. I might do more like 1. I don't know. But okay, so I've read your core rules document, and I really don't. There's really nothing obviously wrong here. This seems like a solid system. I actually really like the idea of having the deck building element alongside the tabletop war game. I think that's kind of neat. I'm not sure I've seen that before. And the core elements, they seem to all kind of be there. What's going to make or break the game is going to be the unit specific abilities, which I assume are in your big document.
Well, I don't have unit specific abilities. Not yet. I haven't gotten that far.
Gotcha.
I have faction abilities, and a lot of the faction abilities are like, so the undead faction, their main gimmick are when they die or when they kill something, they leave behind a soul token, and their casters or commanders can spend soul tokens to heal their units or bring units back at half strength. Right? So, but you have to be within like 6 inches of the correct number of soul tokens. Now, they can move soul tokens around, but the idea is you can either target their commanders to force them to not be able to do that, or you stay spread out so it's harder for them to get groups of tokens, right? I tried really hard to make all the different factions that I have that sort of interactive element where they're trying to do something besides just, the objective game. And you can do something to try to prevent their thing from going off. There are some that are more successful than others, but right now I'm just, I'm like, I didn't want to get into that here. I say I didn't want to get into that here. I wasn't expecting to have this conversation, but
Yeah.
as far like I feel like I need to get the actual like core mechanic down first before I start like even implementing like I have a basic command board that I like for play tests, right? I have a playtest command board, and that is like I was going to use that, make all the cards, do the whole thing, and then I have enough for 2 armies that I'm currently generating through printing. Haha, go me! I'm cheating. Fight me, universe. I don't need them. I could just use paper cutouts, paper circles. That would be the smart thing to do. But I like having fun. So
yes. I will say one thing that's missing is I don't see anything in here of how you get ability points or how many you have per turn.
So that's the thing that changed. The ability points are on the command cards.
Gotcha.
So in let me see, if we go to the top under command phase, it says draw 7 command cards from your command deck. And I haven't updated this. This is what I said. I made some changes to the document, but not enough. Each command card has a symbol and a number of points on it, and you use the command cards to buy. Though the command cards are the ability points, basically.
Okay, perfect. Okay, that makes sense. Yes. I actually kind of dig that mechanic, honestly. I think it's neat.
No, I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad I came up with that, because I was sitting here going like, points are boring. How do I make this interesting?
Yeah, it is more interesting. Now, there are probably going to be some more game purists who are going to be like, each person should have the same resources to play. But with the deck building element, you're going to get that like in the long run. Everyone's going to get the same thing. I mean, you've got a 5-round system, right? So you just pick cards such that over the course of your 5 rounds, everyone ends up with the same number of things.
Yeah. I mean, if you have, you can theoretically have a really bad draw, and you only get like, I have 7. You could hypothetically have a really bad draw and get like 8 points to play with, but that's sort of part of the I mean, you're also playing dice, you know.
Yeah. Well. If you get like 7 bad cards, then I mean, what I would think or what I hope as a player is that's like all my bad cards out of the way in the first round. If I can just kind of live through that first round, maybe I can defend, hole up for defense or whatever. Then maybe I get really good hands for the rest of it, and I can kind of make progress that way. Something like that.
Sure. Yeah. The point. You have to adapt to a certain degree. So yes.
Yeah. No, I think as I read this here, I think the basic framework is pretty solid. I mean, I think you have a lot of things you can vary and a lot of levers you can pull to design interesting units here. I think that's all great. But I think the game itself is going to be in what you design for the faction and unit abilities.
Sure.
So
I feel like that. Yeah. I kind of had that impression. I just needed to. Yeah, I everything I've read and everything I've seen says make sure that for any game that you're making, make sure your core system works correctly.
Yeah.
And so that's sort of why I've been I got to this point, and now I'm slowly building it up, but I'm like, this is done. This is boring.
Okay. I guess the only thing I would question is if your basic infantry is a 3, that might be too high to start with, because it gives you fewer degrees of freedom for making more powerful units. You might consider making them start at on a 2, maybe not a 1, or alternatively, you might use a larger die than a D6. You might use a D8 or something, because these days you can buy D8s or whatever at any store.
Yeah, I was considering using D8s. I was also the basic infantry is 3, right? That's just for playtest purposes. I might drop that to 2, but I was thinking of having not every single basic infantry unit is going to be 10 models. Like at present, they are. Basic infantry is 10 models. Elite infantry are 5, but they have the same wound count. So, you do the math there. But the trick is that, like, I was going to have do various, some of the levers I was going to pull were going to be the hitting on. Do we hit on 3s? Do we hit on 2s? Do you hit on 1s? You have a melee of 1. You are the worst kind of fighter in the world, but congratulations, there's 20 of you. You're going to hit one of the roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, I might. Yeah, the numbers are something that I need to dial back.
Yeah. I mean, I would honestly, the bigger the dice you use, the more levers you're going to have to pull, and the more degree of freedom you'll have to control how units perform in the field. If you use like a D10, you've got even more a D12. I'm
not sure I want to go. I mean, I could give the D12 love and get those and make those D12 collectors really happy when they can roll their 10 D12.
Yeah.
All one of you out there.
Got a bunch of D12s. It's fine. Or even give different units different size dice or something. Because I love you can pull. But yeah, the basic framework. I mean, I'd say no obvious problems on a first reading.
Cool.
I don't.
I'll have to. I'll revisit the D8s because that is something that I've been genuinely considering, because you're right, that wider spread, even just a 2 wider spread, gives me so much more ability to fine tune and granularly get in there.
Yeah. What you could do if you
go on.
What you could do if you want to get more comfort around this system is going to perform practice, try building a spreadsheet that simulates it, or even just sit at a table and roll a bunch of dice in front of you and get a picture in your head of what that's going to look like.
I'm honestly the one thing I'm worried about is on one hand, I don't want the game to be I don't want the game to be too killy where whoever goes first wins. Even though it's an alternate activation system, right? I move one unit, then you move one unit, then I move one unit, then you move one unit. So that kind of mitigates that, but not enough. I don't think, where it's the first guy who gets a good hit, it's all right, I blow all my stuff, you're dead. What's to stop someone from doing that every round, right? All right, whoever is able to activate everything first and get an actual killing blow, that they're the ones that win that engagement. And now the other person, it's on the other person to do the same thing and to try to keep things even.
Well, that's basically the situation we're in real life in warfare, is it not? Modern weapons are so destructive that if you know where the enemy is and you can hit them, you can basically destroy them by striking first. So in modern warfare, you deal with this with a lot of obscurity, a lot of use of cover and concealment across battlefields, to make it that much harder to hit you with that first blow. And obviously the difference is that in a tabletop game like this, the opponent is going to know exactly where all your units are, so that strategy is a little harder to employ. Let me look at this again. Okay, yeah, you have your defend action. Gauge action.
Yeah, the thing with the thing I might be able to do also, depending on to mitigate some of the killiness, is by just changing a lot of the abilities from a flat +1 to you can do this action for free, It doesn't take an action. And so that way that reduces the amount of things I could stack, or that the player could stack, right? And save the actual +1s for like stronger abilities.
Yeah, well, here's an idea. Well, here's an idea. What if the person who moves second and would theoretically be at disadvantage from being struck at first, what if they start with the defense ability active? So they start with the +1 to their defense rolls.
That maybe that's an idea. Hang on. Let me find the thingamabob. Where is initiative? You're in here somewhere. Initiative. Here we go.
Yeah.
Add comment. Person who goes second gets free defend action for first. Then action question mark. It has now been added, so now I can. So now I will consider it because I like having notes.
Yes, perfect. Let's see. So it says during action phase, a player may only activate up to 3 units using AP, and no unit type may be activated more than once. What does no unit type may be activated more than once mean?
That means that you cannot activate a basic unit and then activate another basic unit.
So why is that rule there?
My original logic behind it was limitation enforces creativity.
Okay.
And like, I say limitations enforces creativity. Creativity thrives within limitations. So the idea is that if you only have one of these, I could just change it to you can only activate a unit once with AP, but you can activate the same type multiple times. I could do that. So if you can activate one basic unit, then activate another basic unit. But the idea is I don't want to give a unit 3 action, like not 3 actions. They get 3 actions in the current system by spending AP. I don't want somebody to blow their AP to have one unit just run around the board.
Well, then just say each unit can only be activated once or something like that. You know, that's a pretty common rule.
Yeah, well, I mean that's going to happen with the cards, right? But because you're going to play out the entire unit deck each round. That's not clear, so I'm going to have to clarify that. But I mean, you could I could not put that limitation on. I might have, or I might put the limitation on specific units, so behemoths can't be activated with AP more than once. So you don't do the dragon running around the field killing everything. But I also already have a built-in limit on how many times you can battle and so that wouldn't happen anyway.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I mean, unless I will say lift that limitation for the AP, but that doesn't make sense to do that.
Well, so I'll just say my presence as a player, I tend to be not like the hard units, the hard sort of limitation of you can only do this once. But I think what's a lot of times makes more sense is like escalate the cost of that action each time you do it. Like, okay, sure, you can attack again, but it's going to cost twice as much to do that, and then it's going to cost twice as much after that, which naturally sort of caps how often it can happen. But if someone were to have like a really strong hand of cards or whatever, they might be able to do something with that. I don't know. Just throwing ideas out there.
Sure.
But I think an escalating cost is potentially more elegant than a hard limitation of only attack once. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, if I were to do that, my escalation probably would be attrition, because that makes the most sense to me.
Okay.
Because, I mean, as it like, you can get a lot of attrition quickly. That is a thing, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah.
I might have to tweak the number back up to 5 because I tweaked it down from 5 because I worried that like it would be too easy to just get it would be too easy. I was worried that attrition wouldn't be a factor, right? Unless you were facing the undead, who are like their two shticks are, they are hard to kill because they keep getting back up, and they're spookies. And attrition represents both physical fatigue and mental shell shock, sort of the fear, right? Morale.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wanted to combine it into one. So if I if I implement a system where multiple combat, like you can pay, and we could either have the cost escalate. Ooh, there's an idea. Instead of, because originally the idea was like you limit the activations of each unit so that they are only allowed to move like maybe up to 3 times. We could hypothetically remove that to, you can do one action with a unit. And then if you do, and then additional actions cost more. So would I then do a cost to have each action be cost based? Or would it be escalation by unit?
Yeah.
So let's just say defend, right? You can activate a unit with AP to have them do the defend to get the +1. That can be like 1, right? That could be 1 point to do that. I mean, it can be strong. That +1 can be important, but let's just say for the sake of argument, it's just +1. For 1 point. The question is, does then doing an action on them again, on that unit again, result in the escalation, or just doing another action period result in escalation? Because if I'm doing this by action, and if it's escalation, is the value of a defend equal to the value of a, I don't necessarily want to use charge, but I think but charge is technically an action, even though it's kind of 2 actions, but because it's a move and a battle, right? Because that just makes sense in my head, you know?
That makes a lot of sense.
So you have a move and a battle action in the form of charge. Charge, thus, is functionally 2 actions rolled into 1, which means that, so what you would do sometimes is you could, if your unit was close enough to charge, you could embolden and then charge to give you the +1 to hit for that battle. And then you charge and you hit, and you have a wonderful time. But let's see, if I make charging something you can do with AP, I feel like it would have to cost more than just give yourself a bonus, or even just a move, because it is 2 actions. So if I change it to type, and then I give...
Well, I'll say this: if you leave charge as 1 action and leave it as a cheap action point cost, you're encouraging people to do it more often. That may be something you want, because having units run up to other units and smash them is a fun part of playing a war game. So that could be a reason for keeping it at low cost.
Dang it! You raise a good point. All right, hang on. Let me find this.
By the way,
What I would do
guys,
is-
I'm enjoying listening to this, even if I'm following 50% of it, just because this is artists working together. I like that. I like hearing it. It's cool. It's good footage.
Yeah. What I would do is I would build a spreadsheet where you're kind of simulating some of these kind of battles, just trying to get a feel for how many die rolls it's going to take to kill the other guy's army, and then just kind of tweak your numbers until you get a number of die rolls that you like.
Yeah. A possible change to from spend AP to activate unit to spend AP to give an action. Possible cost escalation either way. No hard cap on number times a unit may be activated via AP. All right. Okay. Yes, spreadsheet and die rolls. I will have to do that. I've kind of been doing that like every once in a while, but it's that's part of the reason why I'm considering the D8s at all. Is just like because I've done it with these sixes where it's like, all right, let's assume they have a +1 from something and this. Let's see how bad that goes. But but that's why I want to actually play the game, because by having a board, a command board, and by having a by having a command board and by having like actual actions you have to do, I can actually also see how often does the scenario where how often does the scenario where they're hitting on less than less than 5 happen, right? With elite infantry, currently it can happen pretty easily because all they need to do is spend an action to do it. But they're spending an action to do it. That action could be on doing something else, like moving again, right? So it's like, do you play KG and constantly use the defend action, which only works for one battle, by the way. At least presently it does.
I think it's a good design choice. You don't want defensive actions generally to be too effective, otherwise people never attack.
Yeah, exactly. That's part of that, and also that whole charge in. That's why that charge in point is actually interesting. Effective units also gain +1 movement for this activation.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. It also gains +2 defense dice. Okay. Yeah, I have a lot of add dice to rolls, which is fine.
Other levers you can pull. Yeah.
Yep. Go.
Other levers you can pull to change unit power is borrow 5e's advantage and disadvantage metric. Roll 2 die, take the lowest or take the highest.
I have a built-in reroll system, but it's kind of anemic right now. I can totally. I am planning on having a reroll blanks be a thing.
Okay. That seems like a good use for action points, especially.
Another use for action points. Yeah. I know that at one character, I have an intention, like. I have so many levers. I have so many ideas. One of the abilities I want to implement is the thing called First Strike, which is like First Strike in 40K, where instead of both players rolling their attacks at the same time, the player with First Strike rolls their attacks, and the player who it doesn't have First Strike roll their defenses. They remove their models, and then they roll their attacks with their new model count.
That's deadly. That's a dangerous one.
It is a dangerous one, which is why it's reserved right now for a dude. One
Fair enough,
hero
yeah.
dude that you have
Yeah.
to like invest in to get. He is a nasty boy, but he is also like he's very costly right now, and by picking him you get locked out of like 75% of the other factions of that particular faction's like other stuff.
Interesting.
So yeah,
it's a tough balance.
He's I've thought a lot about the elves. Okay, my elves
very
are
common affliction.
My elves are weird.
Good.
It is.
Good. Everyone loves weird elves.
Hey, kid, you like warlocks? You like making pact with Fae? No,
we got some
too
good
bad.
stuff back here. We got a table all set up. Come on, step back with us.
Anywho, I need to make sure that this. Yeah.
All right.
That would actually make sense in like a 1980s PSA about like how your kids might be doing Dungeons and Dragons.
True. It's true.
It's 10 o'clock. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. Do you know if your kids are doing D&D?
It's 3 o'clock in the morning. If they are awake, they probably are.
Yeah. Or doing something much worse, like going to parties.
Or League of Legends.
With girls?
That sounds that sounds way worse.
Oh no. It is the Goyles. Oh boy.
Oh goodness.
Now, this is so many good ideas. My goodness, Michael. Sir, why are you too good at this? I'm glad that you think that the bones are decent at the very least and pretty.
Yeah.
Because I
designed my share of board games. Don't get me wrong.
Hey,
glad to know we're among friends who are also dealing with mental illness.
So first of all, how dare you?
I like how he just says, first of all, how dare you, and then stops.
I was going to go with second of all, but you're right, and you are absolutely right. It is great to have friends like this, or something like that.
Nope, I just stopped at, so first of all, how dare you?
Yeah, we're just going to stop there. We don't need to keep going.
That's right.
Oh.
You too can be a part of the brood of writers and poets at war. Just visit joshuadavidling.com/discord to join. If you're a true poetry patriot, you can support us on Substack and Patreon and get the recordings of all of our encouraging and strategic meetings, along with much more. Once again, all links can be found at joshuadavidling.com. Over and out.
God of song, said the warrior bard, sword at least thy right shall guard one faith.